It was July 23rd last year, and we stepped in at the height of the crisis.
When Diana Methenge arrived here in Canada with the promise of finding a safe haven from the danger she faced in Africa, she never imagined the haven would be so hard to find.
It was quite difficult, it was difficult to find a shelter. So privileged enough to get a church shelter. We were sleeping on the floor. It wasn't anything compared to the people who are sleeping outside. So we were like, let's just get by.
She counts herself among the lucky ones, unlike the thousands of African migrants and asylum seekers who arrived here last summer, forced to sleep on Toronto streets because there was no space in any of its shelters.
They wanted to be recognized.
It prompted advocates at the time to call on all levels of government to respond with emergency housing and support to address the shelter crisis, even as churches and other organizations stepped up to fill in the gap.
I wish I was coming here for a different reason.
A federal government spokesperson told Global News that Ottawa has committed $240 million to reimburse the city for housing asylum seekers. The payments are expected to be finalized in the coming weeks. The province has also committed tens of millions of dollars for housing efforts.
There's a housing shortage, but there's also anti-Black racism at play. There's the newcomer factor of not having a job.
1 year later, advocates gathered again today to repeat some of those calls at Queen's Park, demanding governments also develop exit strategies to support refugees who are now getting stuck in the shelter system.
We need them to step up and really fund the entire program, which would be the shelter part, yes, the bed, but also the wraparound service that will ensure housing allowances and making sure that people don't just get stuck in the shelters.
I was so privileged to get a job as a community outreach manager.
And while it was a rocky road to get there, Methenge says it proves a point that migrants coming here aren't looking for handouts, but a hand up from the government to eventually give back to the country that gave them refuge.
Have conversations with us. Let us have bridging courses that is going to make sure that an accountant at home is going to slowly get into their career.
Kayla McLean, Global News.